Mia had always considered herself an easygoing neighbor, the kind who smiled and waved but kept her distance. She lived in a quaint suburban neighborhood where the biggest dramas were the occasional loud party or someone forgetting to put their trash bins away. But that all changed on a chilly Thursday morning, one that began like any other. What happened next was something she would never have anticipated. As she stepped out of her house, her eyes immediately fell on the sleek contours of her beloved red hatchback, parked under the old oak tree. The vibrant colors stood out against the muted tones of autumn leaves carpeting the ground. But something was off. A cold shiver ran down her spine as she noticed the deep, angry-looking scratches glistening in the morning light. It was as if the car had been viciously attacked. Heart racing, Mia stepped closer, dread pooling in her stomach. Who would do such a thing? She whispered to herself, feeling her hands tremble as she reached out to touch the damaged paint. Just then, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Looks like someone's having a rough morning," Jake, her neighbor, called out from his driveway. He was casually leaning against his own car, an old sedan that had seen better days. With a cocky smirk plastered on his face, he waved, but there was something unsettling about his tone. Mia forced a smile back, her mind racing. "Yeah, unfortunate," she managed to reply, eyes narrowing as she tried to read his expression. He seemed almost amused, but the reality of the situation slammed into her like a cold wave. Something deep inside prompted her to grab her phone. In one quick motion, she switched to video mode, secretly aiming it at Jake. It was then that she witnessed a scene that would forever change her perspective. Slowly, he approached her car, and with a swift, deliberate motion, he dragged a key across the shiny paint, leaving a jagged line of destruction in its wake. "Jake!" she shouted, the shock flooding her system. The video captured every second of his malicious act, the evidence she never wanted but desperately needed. "Oh, please," he dismissed her outrage with a wave of his hand, rolling his eyes. "It's just a car. You'll only feel it in your wallet. Besides, you don't even know how to park properly." Mia felt a wave of anger surge inside her. How dare he trivialize what he had done? The adrenaline coursed through her veins, igniting a simmering fire within her. "You think this is funny?" "I think it's just a little fun," he retorted, amusement dancing in his eyes. "You should learn to lighten up." In that moment, Mia realized two things. One, she wasn't just facing a petty vandal, she was staring down someone who enjoyed causing chaos for their own amusement. And two, she had a clear choice to make. The first step was simple. She saved the video to her phone and stormed back into her house, heart pounding. She replayed what she had recorded. Each moment, each laugh, and every smug glance sent a chill racing down her spine. There was something deranged about his playful demeanor. It unsettled her to the core. The mundane world around her had suddenly transformed into something sinister. But as the initial shock wore off and the adrenaline faded, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Jake than met the eye. She decided to investigate. After all, this wasn't just vandalism. It was a glimpse into the mind of a man who found joy in the suffering of others. Over the next few days, Mia's research unveiled snippets of Jake's troubled past. He was not just her arrogant neighbor. He had a history filled with pain and misfortune. Friends had abandoned him, his marriage was disintegrating, and his children barely spoke to him. The more she learned, the more conflicted she felt. Was she punishing someone who was already suffering, or was this an opportunity to teach him a lesson he desperately needed? As she mulled over her options, Mia confronted her own feelings. She was tired of being the victim, the one who stood by while life happened around her. This incident sparked a change within her, igniting a newfound sense of empowerment. It was time to take charge. With her heart steadying, she remembered the powerful video in her pocket. It was not just evidence, it was leverage. The thought of using it was a bitter pill to swallow. Did she want to drag this man's family into the chaos he had created? Yet, how could she let his actions go unchallenged? The dilemma twisted in her mind, but deep down, she knew that she needed to confront Jake, not just for herself, but for the sake of her car, and maybe even for him. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Mia made a decision. Tomorrow, she would talk to him. Whether it was to confront him or to understand him, She was ready for whatever happened next. But for now, she couldn't help but wonder, what kind of a person keys another's car? Behind the laughter and bravado, was there a deeper pain? And as she lay in bed that night, she couldn't shake the knot of anxiety building in her stomach. Tomorrow would be a pivotal day, one that would not only define her relationship with Jake, but could spiral into something far beyond her control. "What will I do?" she murmured to herself, the weight of the unknown pressing down heavily. And with that thought hanging in the air, Mia drifted off to sleep, unaware that this confrontation would unravel secrets and truths that would change everything. Don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter. Have you ever faced a neighbor conflict that made you question their intentions? Let us know in the comments. Mia stood frozen in her living room, the video still playing on her phone. Each time she watched Jake smirk as he vandalized her car, a mix of anger and confusion surged through her. She had never thought of herself as a confrontational person, but something snapped inside her. Taking a deep breath, she decided not to confront him just yet. Instead, she opted to gather more evidence, began documenting everything about Jake's behavior. She noticed him lurking outside more often, pacing in front of his house, and arguing on the phone with someone, perhaps a creditor or an old friend. His laughter was gone, replaced by a sullen demeanor that matched the dull grays of the autumn sky. Mia also started to pay closer attention to her surroundings. She learned that Jake had been let go from his job several months ago, a fact that had quickly spread through the neighborhood gossip channels. The whispers she picked up at the community center painted a picture of a man spiraling into a pit of despair, weighed down by financial burdens and a family on the brink of collapse. One afternoon, while out for a walk, Mia crossed paths with Mrs. Henderson, an elderly woman who lived 2 doors down. Mrs. Henderson was known for her penchant for gossip, and Mia decided to probe a little. "Did you hear about Jake?" Mia started, casually leaning against a fence. "I saw him acting strange lately." "Oh dear," Mrs. Henderson replied, shaking her head. "It's a shame, really. Poor man lost his job and his wife is fed up with it. I hear she's looking to leave him." Mia's heart sank. The thought of Jake's family falling apart made her feel uneasy. She was caught in a moral dilemma. Should she use the evidence she collected against him, possibly shattering what remained of his life? Or should she try to reach out and offer help? That night, she replayed the video of Jake keying her car again. Anger surged anew, mingling with pity. She felt like she was standing at a crossroads. The next morning, she made her decision. She would confront him, but not in the way he might expect. Mia waited until midday, when she knew Jake would be home. She knocked on his door, her heart pounding as she heard his footsteps approach. The door creaked open, revealing a disheveled Jake, his eyes hollow and weary. There was no trace of the cocky neighbor from the other day. "Hey, Mia," he said, hesitantly. "What's up?" "Can we talk?" she asked, keeping her tone even. "I think we need to address something." Sure, come in." She stepped inside, scanning the cluttered living room. It was a stark contrast to the pristine homes around them, filled with half-empty takeout boxes and clothes strewn across the floor. It painted a picture of a man overwhelmed and defeated. "About my car," Mia started, choosing her words carefully. "I have the video of what happened." Jake's expression shifted instantly. "That's not really necessary," he muttered, rubbing the back of his neck. "I didn't mean to, but you did," she interrupted gently, her determination growing. "And it's not just about the car, Jake. It's about what you're going through." "What do you mean?" he asked, confusion flooding his features. "I know things have been tough for you. I've heard about your job and your family." Mia felt a heaviness in her chest as she spoke. "I want to help, not hurt." For a moment, silence enveloped them. Jake's face fell, and she could see the walls he had built around himself begin to crack. "You don't know the half of it," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I've lost everything. My wife is about to leave me, my kids don't talk to me, and now I'm vandalizing cars? What have I become?" Mia's heart ached for him. "It's okay to ask for help, Jake. There are people who can support you. You don't have to go through this alone." Jake looked up, disbelief etched in his features. "You'd actually help me? After what I did?" "Everyone makes mistakes," she replied earnestly. "But it's what you do next that matters. Let's figure this out together." The tension in the room shifted.
Jake's shoulders slumped as if a weight had been lifted. He met her gaze, and for the first time Mia saw a flicker of hope in his eyes. "Maybe I do need help," he admitted, his voice breaking. "I don't want to be this person anymore."
In that moment, Mia realized that her choice to gather evidence had propelled her into a deeper understanding of not just Jake, but of the human experience. She had the power to destroy his life, yet here she was, offering a lifeline instead. As they talked, Mia felt an unexpected sense of relief wash over her. It was no longer about the car or the act of vandalism, it was about healing. She told him about resources available in the community, support groups he could join, and even offered her assistance in finding a new job. By the time she left his house, Mia felt lighter. She had transformed her anger into compassion, and perhaps, just perhaps, she had made a difference. But deep down, she knew the road ahead would not be easy for either of them. As she walked back home, her mind raced with thoughts of what to do next. Should she still file a report? Would it be necessary now that Jake seemed willing to change? The questions circled her mind like a whirlwind. One thing was clear, she couldn't let the situation go just yet. She needed to keep her phone recording, not just for evidence, but to document this unexpected turn of events, an opportunity for redemption in a community that had seen too much darkness. Before she stepped inside her house, she paused for a moment, staring at the scratch marks on her car. They were still there, but they no longer filled her with anger. Instead, they were a reminder that sometimes the greatest battles are fought within ourselves, and the wounds we inflict can lead to healing if we let them. As she settled on her couch later that night, Mia felt an unusual sense of empowerment. She was ready to face whatever came next. But what about you? What would you have done in her position? Would you have chosen revenge or compassion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Mia's heart raced as she absorbed Jake's confession. It was as though a dam had burst, flooding her with the realization that the man she once saw as a mere vandal was in fact a deeply troubled soul. She had the power to either crush him further or extend a lifeline. But the question remained, how could she help without compromising her own boundaries? "Listen, Jake," she said slowly, her voice steady yet compassionate. "You're not alone in this. I can help connect you with resources, maybe even some support groups, but you have to be willing to change." Jake's eyes widened, a flicker of hope igniting in them. "You'd do that for me, after what I did?" "It's not about that," Mia replied, feeling a surge of empathy. "It's about recognizing that we all make mistakes, especially when we're struggling. I just want you to understand that there's a way out of this." He dropped his gaze, and silence enveloped them once more. The air felt thick, heavy with unspoken words and shared pain. "Finally," he nodded, albeit hesitantly. "I've been thinking, maybe I don't have to go through this alone, but I don't even know where to start." Mia took a deep breath, realizing this was her moment to guide him. "How about a fresh start? You could join me at a local community meeting this weekend. It's about sharing experiences and finding support. Just hearing that others are going through similar things might help." Jake looked up, a glimmer of vulnerability crossing his features. "I'll think about it." As Mia turned to leave, she felt a strange mix of hope and trepidation. She had taken a step into the unknown, and the consequences were still unclear. Would he truly change, or was this just a fleeting moment of clarity? The next day, while scrolling through social media, Mia stumbled upon a video that made her stomach drop. It was a clip of Jake, recorded by someone in their neighborhood, displaying erratic behavior as he paced frantically outside his home. His face was flushed, and his hands gestured wildly as he appeared to be arguing with someone on the phone. "It's all falling apart," he shouted in one clip, his voice strained. "You think this is easy? My family is on the edge." Mia's heart sank further. She couldn't ignore the pain in his voice, the desperation that echoed through the screen. This was no longer just a personal crisis. It was a public spectacle that could ruin everything he had left. She hastily navigated through the comment section, which was a mix of concern, ridicule, and outright judgment. "What a loser," one comment read. "He deserves everything he gets," another chimed in. Mia felt a wave of anger wash over her, not just for Jake, but for the neighbors who had turned his struggle into a source of entertainment. Determined to take a stand, Mia decided to reach out to the person who posted the video. After some digging, she discovered it was a local influencer known for sharing neighborhood drama. With shaking hands, she typed a message. "Please take down the video of Jake. He's going through a tough time, and this won't help him." To her surprise, the influencer responded almost immediately. "Why do you care? He brought this on himself." Mia's frustration boiled over. "Because we all make mistakes. We need to support each other instead of tearing each other down. You're not just ruining his reputation, you're affecting his family too." The influencer paused, replying with a vague acknowledgement. "I'll think about it." Yet Mia knew that the damage was already done. She couldn't shake the feeling that through her efforts, she was merely putting a Band-Aid on a much deeper wound. As the days went by, Jake seemed to retreat further into himself. He avoided eye contact with Mia when they crossed paths, and the warmth of their earlier conversation faded into an awkward silence. It was clear that the pressure of his situation was consuming him, and she felt helpless in her attempts to reach out. One evening, as Mia was preparing dinner, her phone buzzed with an unexpected message from Jake. "Can we talk?" Her heart raced again, a mixture of dread and anticipation. She quickly texted back, "Sure, when?" "Now," he replied. Mia took a deep breath and stepped outside. The air was crisp and charged with tension as she approached his house. The porch light flickered, casting eerie shadows as she knocked. The door opened, revealing Jake with bloodshot eyes, his expression a mix of shame and desperation. "I messed up, Mia," he admitted, his voice cracking. "I don't know how to fix this." Mia felt a pang of sympathy. "Tell me what you need," she encouraged, stepping into the warmth of his home. Jake paced the room, running a hand through his hair. "I've been thinking about what you said. I don't want to lose my family, but I feel like I'm drowning. I don't even know if my wife will forgive me for what I've done." Mia watched him, her heart aching. "It's not too late, Jake. You can start by being honest with her. Open up about your struggles. Trust me, it's better than hiding." Jake's eyes filled with tears. "You think she'll listen? She loves you, but you must show her that you're ready to change." With each word, Mia felt the weight of their shared burden. She understood that this was not just about her car anymore. It was about human connection and the fragility of life. As Jake nodded slowly, a silent agreement forming between them, Mia felt a flicker of hope ignite once more. The road ahead would be challenging, but perhaps, together, they could navigate the storm that had engulfed them both. Before parting, Mia leaned in slightly. "And Jake, remember, you're not alone. I'm here if you need to talk." Jake managed a weak smile. "Thanks, Mia, really." As Mia walked away, her mind raced with possibilities. Could she truly help him? Would he take the steps necessary to save his family? And what if he didn't? She knew she was standing at another crossroads, one that could define not just Jake's fate, but her own as well. Feeling a sense of urgency, she decided to share this experience with her viewers. It was time to expose not just the drama, but the truth behind the facade. She would reach out to her community, encouraging them to support rather than judge. And so she sat down to record a video, determined to shed light on the complexities of human struggle. "What would you do if you were in my shoes?" she began, her voice firm. "Join the conversation below. Let's support each other." As she hit post, she felt a sense of clarity wash over her. The journey was only just beginning, and perhaps, together with Jake, they could find a way to rise from the ashes of despair. Mia took a deep breath, the weight of her decision pressing heavily on her chest. She couldn't ignore the gnawing feeling that she needed to confront Jake about the video, about the community's judgment, and the pressure it was putting on him. Steeling herself, she walked to his house, her heart thumping wildly with each step. As she approached the front door, she hesitated for a split second, the enormity of what she was about to do washing over her. But she remembered the pain in Jake's eyes, the desperation she saw in his face in that video. She raised her fist and knocked with determination. After a moment, the door creaked open, revealing a disheveled Jake. His eyes were red-rimmed, and his expression was a mix of confusion and anxiety. "Mia," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "What do you want?"
"Can we talk?" she asked, her voice firm despite her trembling hands. He stepped aside, allowing her to enter his dimly lit living room, which was a stark contrast to the bright afternoon outside. The atmosphere felt thick with unspoken words. Mia wasted no time. "I saw the video," she blurted out, her heart racing. "The one where you were losing it outside your house. The whole neighborhood is talking about it." Jake's face fell, and he sank into a worn-out armchair, running a hand through his hair. "Great. Just what I needed," he muttered. "I'm already a joke, and now everyone's watching." Mia felt a pang of empathy, but she pressed on.
"You have to realize this isn't just about you anymore. It's affecting your kids, too. They see this. They hear what people are saying." Jake looked up, his expression shifting from shame to anger. "You think I don't know that?" he snapped. "You think I wanted this? I'm doing my best, but everything's falling apart. I can't even look my children in the eye without feeling like a failure." The room fell silent, the tension hanging thick like fog. Mia watched as his hands clenched in frustration, his vulnerability on full display. She felt the urge to reach out and comfort him, but she held back, knowing that he needed to confront his own demons. "Jake," she said softly, "I'm not here to judge you. I want to help if you'll let me, but you have to be honest about what's going on." He took a deep breath, his shoulders slumping. "I'm scared," he admitted, his voice cracking. "I've been hiding this for too long. I lost my job a few months ago, and it's been a downward spiral since. I'm terrified of what it means for my family. My kids, they don't deserve this." Mia felt her heart break for him. "You're not alone in this. You need to talk to someone. There are resources, people who can help you." Jake shook his head, tears brimming in his eyes. "What's the point? I've already messed everything up. I'm just some guy who keys cars and loses control in front of everyone. I don't even know if I can face my wife again." Mia felt a surge of determination.
You can't keep running away from this. Confronting your mistakes is the first step. Your family needs you to be strong, not just for them, but for yourself. You can't let this define you. He looked at her, his expression shifting from anger to uncertainty. "What if I can't do it?" "Then I'll be there to help you," she said, her voice unwavering. "But you have to want it. You have to take that first step." The silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken fears and possibilities. Jake's eyes darted around the room, the weight of his reality crushing him. Finally, he nodded, albeit hesitantly. "I'll try, but I'm not promising anything. I don't know if I can change." Mia took a step closer, her heart racing. "That's all I'm asking. Just try. And if you want, I'll come to that community meeting with you this weekend. We can face it together." As she spoke, there was a flicker of hope in Jake's eyes, a glimmer that perhaps, just perhaps, this could be a turning point. Suddenly, the tension in the room shifted. An unexpected sound echoed from the other room, a child's laughter followed by a crash. Mia's instincts kicked in, and she turned towards the sound. "Is everything okay?" Jake's face blatched, panic flooding his features. "Oh no, that's my youngest. I need to check on them." He bolted from the room, leaving Mia standing there, grappling with the emotions that swirled within her. She could hear Jake's voice raised in alarm, mingled with the innocent giggles of his children. Moments later, he returned, looking visibly shaken. "They're fine, just a little too rambunctious," he said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. But Mia could see through it. "You can't keep pretending everything is okay. This is part of the problem. You need to be honest with them, too." Jake sighed, the weight of his struggles crushing him. "I don't want to burden them with my issues." "But they'll sense it anyway," Mia replied gently. "Children are more intuitive than we give them credit for. They need to know they can rely on you, even when times are tough." Jake ran a hand over his face, the exhaustion evident. "I don't know how to fix this, Mia. I'm lost." Mia stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "It starts with acknowledging what's happening. You don't have to have all the answers right now. Just take it one step at a time, and I'll be there to support you through it." He stared at her, and for a moment Mia felt a connection, a fleeting moment of understanding that transcended their troubled past. But just as quickly as it formed, it shattered. A loud knock echoed from the front door, jolting them both. Jake's face paled, and Mia's heart raced with apprehension.
Who could that be? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake shook his head, fear etched across his features. I don't know, but it can't be good.
As he walked towards the door, Mia's mind raced. What if it was someone from the neighborhood, someone who had seen the video? What if the community's judgment came knocking at their door once more? Jake opened the door, revealing a stern-faced officer, his presence casting a shadow over the room. Jake Thompson? The officer asked, his tone leaving no room for misunderstanding. Mia's heart sank as she realized that the confrontation they had just shared might have just become a catalyst for something far more explosive. Would this be the moment where Jake's struggles were laid bare, not just to his family, but to the entire community? And as the officer continued speaking, Mia's thoughts spiraled. This wasn't just about Jake anymore. This was about accountability, compassion, and the thin line that separated them all. Would they be able to salvage what little hope remained, or was this the beginning of the end for Jake's family? As the tension reached its peak, Mia's mind raced with questions. What would Jake do next? How far was he willing to go to protect his family? And ultimately, could they all find redemption in the chaos that surrounded them? With the officer's voice echoing in her ears, Mia felt the weight of the world pressing down upon them all. The confrontation had begun, and there was no turning back now. As the unexpected sound echoed from the back of Jake's house, both Mia and Jake turned their heads instinctively.
It was a muffled crash, followed by the unmistakable cry of a child. Mia's heart sank. It was a reminder that their confrontation wasn't the only storm brewing. "Jake, what was that?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. Jake's expression darkened, and he stood abruptly. "It's probably just the kids. They can be rambunctious," he said, his tone evasive. But Mia could see the flicker of worry in his eyes. "Do you want to check on them?" she urged, sensing the tension rising again. For a moment, Jake seemed torn. "No, it's fine," he muttered, but Mia could tell he was lying. She stood, following him toward the noise, driven by a mix of concern and curiosity. As they reached the doorway leading to the backyard, a scene unfolded that was far more chaotic than either of them anticipated. In the backyard, two children were engaged in a heated argument over a broken toy. It lay in pieces on the grass, a casualty of their sibling rivalry. The younger one, a girl with tears streaming down her cheeks, pointed accusingly at her brother. "You did this! You always ruin everything!" she cried out, her voice high-pitched with frustration. Jake's face drained of color. "Guys, stop!" he shouted, the anger bubbling up again. But Mia noticed something different this time. His voice wavered. He wasn't just upset, he was terrified. "Mia, can you talk to them?" he asked, desperation creeping into his tone. I can't handle this right now." Mia felt a surge of compassion. "Of course," she said, stepping forward. She knelt down to the children's level, her heart aching at their distress. "Hey, it's okay. It's just a toy. We can fix it, right?" The little girl sniffled, her anger melting into confusion. "But he broke it." "I know," Mia replied gently, "but accidents happen. Why don't we all sit down and talk about it?" As they began to settle down, Jake stood at a distance, watching with an expression that mixed gratitude and fear. Mia realized the problem ran deeper than the toy. It was a reflection of the chaos in their lives. Minutes later, the children were calmed, and Mia turned back to Jake, who was still standing by the doorway. "See, they just need you," she said softly. "They need to know you're present, even when things get tough." He nodded, but his eyes were clouded. "What if I'm just making things worse? What if I can't change?" Mia felt a surge of frustration. "You have to try, Jake. You can't just let this spiral. Your kids need to see you fight for them." Just then, Mia's phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out, expecting a message from a friend. Instead, her heart sank as she read a notification. A community group had shared a video of her confrontation with Jake, captioned with snide comments about her meddling in a family issue. "Oh no," she breathed, her heart racing as she scrolled through the comments. "They're turning this against me." Jake stepped closer, peering at her screen. "What's wrong?" Mia's voice trembled. "They're saying I'm overstepping, that I'm trying to ruin your family." "What?" he exclaimed, disbelief etched across his face. "They're blaming you for my problems?" "They think I'm the villain here," Mia replied, her voice catching in her throat. I'm just trying to help. The weight of the community's backlash pressed down on her like a heavy blanket. She had thought she was doing the right thing, stepping in to support Jake, but now it felt like she was being painted as the enemy. Forget them, Jake said, anger flaring in his chest. They don't know what we're going through. They don't understand. Mia looked at him, her heart racing. But they're not going to stop. They're going to keep this going, and it's going to affect you, your kids. What do we do? Jake clenched his fists. I don't care what they think. My priority is my family, not their opinions. Then we need to turn this around, Mia said, determination rising within her. We can't let them dictate our lives. If they want to see us fail, we have to show them that we're stronger than that. Are you serious? Jake looked at her, his expression a mixture of hope and skepticism. Yes, she affirmed. Let's organize a community meeting. We can address what happened, set the record straight. We can't hide from this anymore. Jake's brow furrowed. You really think that will help? It has to.
We need to face this together. Show them the truth. I'll help you prepare, and I'll be there with you. You're not alone in this. As her words hung in the air, Mia could see the flicker of hope return to Jake's eyes, even if it was just a spark. Okay, he said slowly. Let's do it. But as Mia turned back to her phone, a new wave of anxiety washed over her. The comments were relentless, and gossip had a way of growing like wildfire. Would this community meeting truly change anything, or would it only fuel the fire? With determination, Mia typed a short response to the community group, announcing the meeting and urging for a constructive conversation. She knew it was a risk, but it was a risk worth taking. Are you ready for this? She asked Jake, her voice steady as she turned to him. I don't know, he admitted, uncertainty creeping back into his demeanor. But I have to try. For my kids. And for you. Mia's heart swelled at his words. We'll do it together, she promised, feeling the weight of the world shift just slightly off her shoulders. Let's face this head on. We've come this far. As they walked back into the house, Mia felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were no longer just victims of circumstance. They were partners in a battle for their lives, for their families, and for their community. But as they closed the door behind them, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the storm was only just beginning. Would they emerge victorious, or would the community's judgment threaten to tear them apart entirely? Hey, do you think it's possible for people to change their minds? Mia asked, glancing back at Jake as they prepared for the meeting. Jake shrugged, a faint smile breaking through his earlier storm of emotions. I guess we'll find out. With a new resolve, they set their sights on the upcoming confrontation, but deep down, Mia knew the stakes were higher than ever, and the outcome would shape not only Jake's future, but her own as well. As they stepped into the unknown, one question lingered in Mia's mind. Was the community ready to listen, or were they just waiting for another scandal to unfold? Let's do this, she whispered, gathering her courage. It's time to change the narrative. Before they could proceed, a thought struck her. What do you think? Will the community back us, or is it too late? This time, she felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, they would find a way to rewrite their story together. As Mia stood there, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife, Jake's gaze drifted toward the ground. What if I'm just making things worse? He muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. What if I can't change? Mia felt a mix of frustration and compassion wash over her. She stepped closer, her heart racing at the vulnerability Jake was displaying. You need to believe that you can, she replied firmly, her eyes locking onto his. You're not just a victim of your circumstances. You have the power to change your story. Jake looked up, surprise flickering in his eyes. You don't get it, Mia. I've already messed up so much. How can I fix this? His hands trembled slightly, revealing the weight of his internal struggle. You start by being present, she urged, her voice steady. Your kids need to know you're there for them. You can't fight for them if you don't even show up. The words hung in the air, charged with the unspoken truth that had been simmering between them. Jake's brow furrowed as he chewed on her words, his mind clearly racing. What if I fail them again? What if I can't be the father they need? Mia's heart ached at the despair etched in his features. Every parent has doubts, Jake, but your kids love you. They want you to be part of their lives, flaws and all. You have to show them that it's okay to be imperfect. A silence enveloped them, punctuated only by the distant sounds of children playing. Mia glanced back at the two siblings, now seated on the grass, their earlier fight forgotten as they attempted to piece together the broken toy. It was a small reminder that even amidst chaos, there was always a chance for healing and repair. "What if I told you I recorded you keying my car?" Mia's voice broke the silence, her eyes narrowing as she gauged his reaction. Jake's face paled, a mix of shock and guilt washing over him. You recorded that?"
"I did," she replied, crossing her arms, feeling a surge of power as she took control of the narrative. "I had every intention of using it to get you in trouble, to make you pay for what you did. But now," her voice softened, "now I just want to understand. What drove you to this point?" He inhaled deeply, as if trying to gather the scattered pieces of his thoughts. "I was angry, Mia. Angry at myself, angry at everything. I thought that if I could just lash out, maybe it would ease the pain. But instead, it just made everything worse." Mia nodded, recognizing the struggle he was facing. "We all have our moments of weakness, Jake, but hurting others won't heal your wounds. If anything, it just deepens them." Jake's eyes glimmered with unshed tears. "I never wanted to hurt you. I didn't think about how my actions would affect you or my kids. I just lost control." "Then let's work on regaining that control together," Mia suggested, her voice laced with determination. "You can start by addressing the community's concerns. Show them that you're willing to change, that you want to make a difference. You can't let their opinions dictate your life." He hesitated, the weight of her words settling in. "What if they never forgive me? What if they just see me as that guy who vandalized a car?" "They might," Mia replied honestly, "but you have to give them a reason to see you differently. Show them you're not just a one-dimensional character in their story. You're a father, a neighbor, and someone who can change." Silence filled the space between them again, but this time it felt charged with possibility. "I want to try," Jake finally said, his voice trembling with newfound resolve. "I want to be better. For my kids."
"Okay," Jake breathed, his shoulders relaxing slightly. "I'll talk to them, to my kids, and to the community. I'll show them I can change." Just as the words left his lips, another notification buzzed on Mia's phone. She glanced at the screen, a chill running down her spine. A new video had been posted in the community group. This time, it showed a heartfelt apology from Jake. "Look," she said, showing it to him. "You're taking the first step." His eyes widened as he processed the moment. "I didn't even realize I had done that." "That's the power of change, Jake," Mia smiled, her heart lifting. "It starts with acknowledging your mistakes, and then it grows into something beautiful." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the neighborhood, Mia felt a sense of hope wash over her. The chaos of their lives had brought them to this moment, a moment of truth and vulnerability.
"We can do this," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the breeze. Jake nodded, a newfound determination igniting in his eyes. "Together." And with that, they stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that their journey toward healing and understanding had only just begun. As the chapter ends, Mia and Jake are left to navigate their newfound connection. Will they be able to mend the rifts in their lives, or will the shadows of their pasts haunt them forever? If you enjoyed this story and want to find out how it all ends, be sure to subscribe to the channel. What do you think will happen next? Let us know in the comments. As Mia stood there, the weight of the moment pressing heavily on her shoulders, she felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this was the turning point they both needed. "Jake," she said softly, breaking the silence, "you can't keep running from this. You owe it to yourself and your kids to confront the truth." Jake nodded slowly, his eyes reflecting a mix of fear and determination.
But how do I even begin to make amends? The community hates me. They see me as a monster. His voice trembled, but beneath it lay a burgeoning resolve, a desire to reclaim his narrative. Start small, Mia suggested, her tone encouraging. Reach out to your neighbors. Apologize. Show that you're willing to listen and change. It might not be easy, but it's a step in the right direction.
She could see the gears turning in his mind, and for the first time, hope flickered in his eyes. "What if they don't accept my apology?" he asked. "That you're more than just a moment of rage. You have to show them that you are capable of change." As they spoke, the sounds of children arguing faded into the background, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves and birds chirping. Mia glanced over her shoulder, noticing that the two siblings were now focused on fixing the broken toy, their earlier anger dissipating into laughter. "See, even they can find a way to mend things," she pointed out, hoping to instill a sense of possibility in Jake. He followed her gaze, a small smile creeping onto his face. "You're right. They're resilient. Maybe I can learn from them." "Exactly," Mia encouraged, "and you have a community ready to support you if you let them in." Jake took a deep breath, his shoulders relaxing slightly. "Okay," he said, his voice steadier now. "I'll do it. I'll talk to them. I want to show my kids that I can be better." Mia felt a surge of pride wash over her. That's the spirit. But remember, it's not just about talking. You need to listen too. Understand their concerns and fears. It's about rebuilding trust. With newfound determination, Jake nodded. "I can do that. I need to do that."
Just then, the distant sound of laughter drew Mia's attention back to the kids. They were now working together, their earlier squabbles forgotten, and it struck her how important it was for Jake to witness this. "Look at them," she said, motioning toward the siblings. "They're learning to work together despite their differences. That's what you need to do with your neighbors." Jake watched as his children played, and a sense of clarity washed over him. Maybe it wouldn't be easy, but he wouldn't be facing it alone. "Thank you, Mia," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Mia smiled, feeling the warmth of their connection deepen. "You're taking the right steps, Jake. And don't hesitate to reach out for help. There are resources available for families like yours. Support groups, counseling. You don't have to do this alone." "I'll look into it," he promised, his resolve solidifying. "I want to be a better father, a better neighbor. I want to make things right." As they stood there, the atmosphere shifted from one of tension to possibility. Mia could see the spark of hope igniting in Jake, and it filled her with a sense of purpose. "Let's organize a community gathering," she suggested impulsively. "Invite everyone and let them see the real you. Share your story, your struggles. It could be a powerful way to start rebuilding those connections." Jake's eyes widened in surprise. "You really think they'll come?" "I know they will," Mia replied confidently. "People are more understanding than we often give them credit for. They just need to see that you're genuine and willing to change." After a moment of contemplation, Jake nodded, a smile breaking through the remnants of his earlier despair. "All right, let's do it. I'll be honest about what I've done and what I'm trying to do moving forward." Mia felt exhilarated by his decision. "I'll help you organize it. We can put up flyers and I'll reach out to some neighbors. Together, we'll show them that you're committed to making amends." As they began discussing the details, Mia felt an overwhelming sense of unity forming between them. The tension that once filled the air was replaced with a shared purpose, a commitment to healing not just for Jake, but for the entire community. Days turned into weeks as they worked tirelessly, planning the gathering. Mia witnessed Jake's transformation firsthand. He began to engage with other neighbors, apologizing and sharing his story. The community responded with a mix of skepticism and curiosity, but gradually they began to see the change in him. On the day of the gathering, the atmosphere was electric. Mia stood at the entrance, greeting neighbors as they arrived. She could feel the palpable energy in the air, a mix of anticipation and tension. When Jake finally stepped up to speak, Mia held her breath, praying for him to find the strength within. "Thank you all for coming," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I know I've made terrible mistakes, and I can't change the past, but I want to be better.
for my kids, for all of you. I'm here to listen, to learn, and to grow. I know I have a long way to go, but I'm committed to making things right." As he spoke, Mia watched the crowd. Some faces were skeptical, but others were softening, open to the possibility of forgiveness. After his speech, people began to approach Jake, sharing their concerns and offering support. The conversation flowed, filled with empathy and understanding, and Mia felt tears prick at her eyes as she witnessed the community come together. That night, as they wrapped up the gathering, Jake turned to Mia, his expression a mix of gratitude and disbelief. "I can't believe it actually worked. They're willing to give me a chance." Mia smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "You did this, Jake. You took the first step. Now it's time to keep moving forward." As they walked home, side by side, Mia felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. They had turned a moment of chaos into a chance for healing, not just for Jake, but for the entire community. In that moment, she realized the power of understanding and forgiveness. It wasn't just about her car. It was about forging connections, rebuilding trust, and embracing the imperfections that made them all human. As they reached their street, Mia turned to Jake, a playful smile on her lips.
"So, what's next on your journey of redemption?" Jake chuckled, the weight of his past lifting slightly. "I guess I'll just have to keep showing up, right?" "Exactly," Mia replied, her eyes sparkling. "And remember, you're not alone in this. We're all in it together." As they parted ways, Mia felt a sense of hope for the future. She had witnessed the transformation of a neighbor, a community, and perhaps even herself. And as she walked into her home, she couldn't help but wonder, how many more stories were waiting to be told, just beyond the surface of everyday life? And with that thought, she smiled, ready to embrace whatever came next. What do you think? Have you ever witnessed a moment of transformation in your community? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more captivating stories.